All right, we're going to look at how the federal government collects taxes, what the source of those taxes in, what they spend it on, and then we're also going to look at what the state spends its money on and where it gets its money. So federal government, the United States, where they get their money, and this is all obviously in taxes, but there are all kinds of taxes that the government collects. If you look at the pie chart there, the blue half on the right side, that's your individual income tax. So that is the money that they take out of our paycheck based on the income that we make. And that is a progressive tax. The higher your income, the more money they're going to take out of your paycheck. So in 2017, 48% of taxes that were collected by the federal government came from individuals out of your paycheck. The red there, and it doesn't have a line pointing to it there at the bottom, though, that's your corporate income taxes. So when a corporation makes income and they make profits, the government is going to tax that also. The yellow is payroll taxes. That's your Social Security tax and your Medicare tax. The green slice there is an excise tax, and the government puts excise taxes on things like gasoline and tobacco and alcohol. And this is really important. All three of those have an inelastic demand. So the government is going to tax those products, and they're going to say that they're taxing them because they want us to quit using as much gas, or they want us to stop smoking, or that they want us to stop drinking alcohol. Sometimes this is referred to as a sin tax, S-I-N, and they're trying to get you to not do it as much. But the other thing is they know that most people, regardless of the tax itself, are going to continue to do these things because the demand is inelastic. So they make some money off of this by doing that. And then we have 6%, whether it's gift tax, estate taxes, there's tons and tons of different taxes that the government puts on us. So, but the number one source of revenue is our paychecks in the form of taking a percentage of our income, and then the payroll taxes, the Social Security and the Medicare tax. And this is the spending categories. In the red, 61.5% are what's called mandatory spending accounts. Mandatory means it doesn't matter. The government has to pay these. And that is your Social Security and your Medicare. Those have been promised to us. Those have been taken out of our paycheck. And so whenever the government collects money, those are the first things that they have to pay. And then whatever is left over, they can spend on what's called discretionary spending. And if you notice over there in the blue and the gold, it says defense discretionary spending, national defense, military. That is discretionary. It is not a mandatory account. So the more Social Security and Medicare start taking up of our taxes, the less money will be left over for these other discretionary. Discretionary just means whatever is left over, and that can change. They don't have to. That is at their discretion. So defense is the largest the largest discretionary account or things that we fund. Where it says non-discretionary, that's a ton of stuff in there. You've got welfare, you've got government funding, you've got roads, so everything else, there's a ton of things in that. And then interest payments. The United States is in debt, and so they have to pay interest. So 7.6% in 2018 just went in paying interest on the debt. State sources of revenue. I know this is hard to read, and I apologize for that. They're on the left-hand side in the pink. 40% of, and this is 2007. I couldn't find a newer pie chart, but it's probably close to the same each year. Most of our taxes come in the form of property taxes that come to the state. Then they collect a personal income tax. And then there's a sales tax. So those three make up the largest percentage of the tax that's collected here in Indiana. Gaming income from the lottery, corporate income tax, and then just all the miscellaneous excise taxes. Once again, the state puts taxes on gas and they put it on alcohol and tobacco. And then there are licensing fees and all kinds of other things that would fall into that miscellaneous excise taxes. So largest portion of state revenue, property tax, sales tax, and then personal income tax. And then what we spend most of our money on in the state of Indiana is education, funding K through 12, and then the next one is higher education, which is your colleges. Public assistance, that's kind of the welfare. A large portion goes to Medicaid. Medicare is aid to the elderly. Medicaid is aid to low income. Corrections in the forms of your jails and your prisons, transportation, and then other, which is anything obviously that doesn't fall in those particular categories that the government has to fund.